Welcome back to another mini episode of the Authentic Man podcast. I'm your host, David Chambers, and this is a mini episode. And I'm going to be talking about, are you listening and interacting with the world through your story, through your narrative of who you are, your limited narrative, your dysfunctional narrative of who you are and who other people are and the world is? And this topic's kind of come to me because I just finished running the Foundations of a Conscious Relationship workshop with my partner also, and we talked about this, like how there's some massive mistakes that we make when it comes to interacting with people in the world. And one of them is that we just constantly interacting with the world not through what's happening to us or happening around us, but through this lens of this story of who we are. Like, I'll give you an example. You're talking to your partner, and I'll give you an example that's really true for me, really alive for me. Often I have to be mindful of myself. Is also says to me like, "Hey, when are you going to be back?" And my mind goes, oh shit, she wants you to be back at a certain time. Oh, that means you can't just stay out as long as you want. Or, oh shit, what does she want? I wanted to be able to be chill. Like, she needs something from me. And this is me listening through this lens of, I'm not free, right? I'll give you another example that could be really relevant to you. Is, say for instance, your partner is sharing something, right, openly and vulnerably about the relationship, like a need or a want or something like that. They may say, I'm not going to say what the need is, but you know the need. And in your head, you hear the words, but you translate this into a meaning, into a story that's like, oh shit, they've had this need and they haven't told me about this. Oh shit, they're hiding things from me. What else are they hiding from me? They've been hiding information. Do you see what I mean? Like, you see how you have distorted something into something else to fit a narrative often that we think about ourselves and the world. And I'll give you another example, right? Again, partners sharing something openly and honestly and vulnerably about themselves and a need, right? A need, something they need in the relationship. And you overreact and you take this as them telling you that, their needs, you're not meeting their needs, and that means that they're going to leave you. Yeah? Or you're not meeting their needs, which equals you're a shit partner and they're going to leave you, or something like that. And you see where we do this. We have this narrative about ourselves or the world, and we keep interacting with the world through this. And we just constantly doing this, right? And we think that we are listening to people and speaking to people in like this very plain and real way. But in fact, we're always running this limited story, this limited narrative, these limited beliefs. And we're constantly finding evidence for them, right, around us. Like in dating, could be anything like, oh, there's no good people out there. There's no one who actually is serious about dating, men or women, whatever gender. And you constantly find all this evidence, you constantly find all this evidence from friends and friends of friends that there's no one serious out there. But really the lens that you're coming from is that there is no one already, right? So you're just looking for this evidence constantly that fulfills this, that fits into this, or something, often we have this idea we're not good enough. So everything people do around us is a sign of us not being good enough. And it's so important that we build a level of awareness that we can spot we're doing this, because everyone's doing it so much that it's quite normal. We think it's like acceptable, and we even sit around and with friends and go, oh my God, this person said this to me. Oh, what they really mean is X, Y, and Z. And then we go, yeah, my God, totally. And it's just like, most of the time we're just all making up the same bullshit or different levels of bullshit. And this limits us so much because we're constantly interpreting everything that's happening around us in a way that is not happening. Like someone ghosts you, you think, oh shit, if someone's ghosted me, that means I'm worthless, or that means I'm never going to find anyone, or that means that they hated the date. this is possibly true, but it's not always true, and we act as if it's always true. And something like ghosting, for instance, like there's so many reasons why people ghost. I think one of the most common reasons why people ghost is they liked it, it was okay, but it just wasn't amazing, and they don't want to say why, or they've got something better. But the interpretation that we take on often from this, and it's very subconscious sometimes, it's very subtle, is that we're not good enough, we're rubbish, we're ugly, we're unattractive, we'll never meet anybody, and all these very final things. And it's just really important we start to build awareness around this and start to look at how true this is, if it's even true. And it's not true. It's not always the way. And as I said in the workshop, one of the first places to start is awareness. It's starting to be aware that you have this story that you run, that you have this narrative that you're constantly running, and you're reacting from as well. Because when we're in relationship, we react from this story. Like in my case, as I said earlier, I feel like I'm not being free. I then might react in this way of why do you want to know? Why do you want to know when I'm going to be back? I don't know when I'm going to be back. I might be short and sharp because I'm you're trying to invade upon my sovereignty and freedom. But I'm not reacting to what's being said. I'm reacting to the story that I have about what's being said. And just think about that. If I have a story that I'm not free, or my partner's trying to, stop me from doing things I want to do, and then when they ask me what time I'm going to be home, I interpret that as them starting to limit my sovereignty and limit my freedom. I then react from this story of they're trying to limit my freedom, and I react emotionally from that place, because that story creates an emotional charge in my body, in me, and I react to it. And then I say that that's what they were telling me, that's what they said, when in fact I created all of this myself. And I think this is really important. It's we create reactions, and those reactions trickle on, because I react to Orsa in that way, going, what do you mean? What time am I going to be back? She reacts to me in wow, what the fuck? Why is he being so short? And he's annoyed at me. And she might go into a story of oh, I've done something wrong, or I've not done anything wrong. Why is he angry with me? Why is he always angry with me? And then she reacts from that place. And you know what that leads to? Arguments. Arguments, disconnection, and disagreement. And we do this constantly. We're reacting to each other's reactions. It's something I've been talking to a few of my clients about recently. It's just how can we stop reacting to our partner's reactions, or just reacting in the first place? Bring in awareness, in the moment awareness. When we're doing it, it's fundamental to become aware of how we view ourselves in the world and how we're reacting to the world as well. And, most people don't do this because it's difficult. It takes effort. We have to always be on guard. We have to be aware. We have to be focused. But it's constantly happening. And it's dropping the meaning, dropping the thought that we have about things is what really leads us to a place of stillness. And then, we need to kind of acknowledge that there isn't just that one possibility. So in my case, when Orsa's asking me, when I'm coming back, when my mind goes to, oh, she's trying to limit your freedom, or she's trying to want you back by a certain time, and whatever it may be, the first thing I must have to do after being aware, okay, wait, oh, I'm doing that thing, is to go, oh, wait, what else could it be? Yeah, what else could it be? She could just be asking me because she wants to know if she could go to bed by, before. Or she might be asking you because she wants to do something really special that night. Maybe she has some wonderful sex plans planned. She's just wondering if I'll be back in time, and if not, we'll do it another night. Maybe she's asking me because she might leave me some food, or whatever it may be, right? It could be for all of those reasons. But if I don't open my mind to it, and I only focus on the one reason, the one story that my mind has, I'm going to react from that. So when I open my mind, I start relaxing myself. I'm not so reactive. And then I could say, the next part, I could then start speaking in alignment with what's important to me, or my desired path and where I want to act from. And obviously in my relationship, I want to act from a case of love and compassion and connection. So I might think to myself, okay, wait, so she's asking me when I'm going to be back. I can see that it might not be the only thing she's doing is trying to limit my freedom. Oh, she might actually just be asking how I am, or, to do something later. Oh, actually, I can decide to respond from love and compassion and connection, and let me respond from that place and see where that takes us, right? And you see how much of a difference that would make, instead of my first reaction, which is reacting from why would you're trying to limit my freedom? It's a complete different conversation we're having. A completely different conversation, right? And if you really hear that, you're like, fuck, I could really shift how I communicate with my partner, with my friends, with my mother, simply by doing this and simply staying in that space of how do I want to respond to this? And this is really powerful, even when with a partner who is actually reacting to you, with anger or frustration, and you react to them from a place of love and connection and compassion for who they are, right? Because this gives you an option to have a different outcome. Because if you react from your own reaction of anger, defensiveness, attacking, whatever, you're going to perpetuate that thing. And this is something I talk about so much because it's just so important how we are reacting and we're dealing with our partners. So yeah, that's what I've got for you today. Really sit with this one because it's revolutionary for your life, revolutionary for your communication and your relationships, romantic and non-romantic ones. It can be, this can really make a difference to sexual intimacy as well. When we start to stop reacting from this story and we start, coming from a place of love and connection, compassion, desire, whatever it may be, you just shift into a different gear of communicating with people in your life, not being defensive, not being attacking. It really, really will change how people respond to you and the sort of connections and the outcomes you'll create both in your business and in your personal life. As always, if you're interested in getting in contact with me, you can find me through at The Authentic Man on at The Authentic Man _ on Instagram, or you can find me hello at theauthenticman.net. I am also running an 8-week program for men where we talk about things. We're going to get into a lot of details about emotions and presence and connection and opening up to feeling more, and how to be more felt by your partners, as well as integrating parts of our feminine, bringing that out into the world and giving us more energy for life, as well as talking about goals and purpose. And again, it's going to be a very embodied program. It's not just me talking. It's going to be you doing stuff. There's going to be challenges to do in between. There's going to be work to get on with and do. It's just to expand your capacity and expand your being as a man. And if this sounds interesting, you can find me at Instagram or at email, and we can have a chat about getting you on the program. But until next week, people, ciao, ciao.